Hey everybody, this is Brittany here with Surfing Waves of Light. I hope that you are all doing well. I've missed you all very much. Today I felt inspired to bring through a message from the guides and teachers about the goddess energy. And so I'm going to bring them through so they can share some downloads, some wisdom, and some insights to help us all as we navigate these very, very interesting times. Okay, let's see what the guides and teachers have to say. Greetings, dear beings. I am spirit. I am the neutral, balanced, subtle, and fairy-like energies of the universe. I am the magical dust which flickers from your fingertips and toes as you dance through this existence. I am the sparkle that comes down from the sky after a storm. I am the energy that illuminates and infuses all things. And I am here to share a beautiful message with all of you so that you may be more embodied each and every day, not only in the energy that you are currently experiencing, but also the oneness, which is truly who you are. I am spirit, and I am here to touch on the polarities of negative and positive, of the light and shadow with which you see and withhold within yourself. You see, dear beings, there is so often judgment around ourselves and around other beings when they do not act in accordance with the societal standards that are upon you. When someone does something wrong, when they betray another, or when they hurt themselves, there is much ease in gossiping, in judging, and in calling upon these moments as bad. You and we, me as part of this being, as part of her spirit guides and teachers, notice how the mind can be very successful at using just one thought to induce an entire energetic situation, an entire energetic cloud. And this is something we want you to recognize, is that it takes just one thought to move you into a place of distrust, of dissatisfaction, of dis-ease. And yet, it also takes just one thought to bring you back into the realms of love, to bring you back into the realms of trust, to bring you back into the realms where you can use and access your magical dust. I am spirit, and I am here to encourage you to embrace the light and dark of all you see. Embrace the light of those around you, but hold space for their darkness as well. Look at each being as a unique and original combination of separateness, one with which, if they are in your realm, you were meant to experience. Notice what they show you. Notice how their energies inform and interact with yours. Do not be afraid of the darkness of another. Even if you have been on the receiving end of that darkness, that does not mean you are there to judge. No, that does not mean that you are there to hold them against themselves or hold them as guilty in your own mind. You see, this planet is of polarity. And if every being was just acting perfectly all the time, you would not be here. You would not be in oneness. And that is why forgiveness is such a key lesson in this realm. It is such a powerful place to come from. And so as this being navigates her own situations and energies, we are asking her to forgive those around her who are not acting as she wishes they would. We are asking her to let go of any expectation that she has, knowing that the darkness she sees is not anything bad. No, it is truly us. It is truly the universe. It is truly spirit working through the beings around her to help her become her greatest self, to help her become her most infused self of oneness and love, while also being a part of this earth plane play. Yes, do not be afraid of the darkness of others, for it is an indicator of the darkness within yourself. And it is important at this time that beings are able to look upon their own darknesses, to look upon their past, any mistakes they made, any ways that they had treated others poorly, and forgive themselves and create a golden light of neutrality and love around that moment. For you are all actors in this play, and any shadow that you embody is part of the plan. It is part of the process. For even Earth, the most beautiful planet that you all have collectively created to be separate from God, has its angry moments. It brings its tornadoes and its storms. It brings its heavy, heavy, hot skies into your realm, and its deep, blistering, cold winter storms. For the earth in of itself is constantly working to balance these polarities. And yet it is often through the darkness, through the tenderness, the anger, the amplification of energy, that any stagnation, any beliefs and thoughts below the vibration of love can truly be cleared. And so that is what we wish for you to remember. We wish for you to remember that you are, as a consciousness on earth, a part of earth. And we want you to remember that even her most beautiful waters can cause someone to drown. And it is not because there is anything wrong with that situation. No, it is merely because each individual is playing out their part, is playing out their role in this collective play. For you all wanted to have the experience of free will. You all wanted to play your role in this collective consciousness. And so now you get to do it. If you were in a play here on this 3D reality and your character was evil sometimes or did unloving things, you would not judge that character. You would lean in to those moments. You would become the best actor you could be. And yet in the same moment, and as most stories go on your earth plane, there are redemption. There are the moments when the character who has been acting sinister finds his or her way, realizes that she was only ever harming herself. And so once she makes that realization, her arc changes and she moves back into the presence of love, and she moves back into the oneness with her community, the oneness with herself. She is no longer being controlled by the darkness. She has taken the dark energy and she has infused it into her being, which is what creates her most memorable moments. It is what creates the most fullness embodiment of her character. And so that is what we wish for you to remember. You are not here to only be light and push away the darkness. No, you are here to learn the lessons the darkness teaches you and continuously sow and infuse them into the light, so that when you are done with your time here, you have a beautifully balanced, energetic being embodied that has her darkness and her light all mixed together and all ready to come into oneness, all understood because none was pushed away. And that is the issue we see with pushing something away. When you go through a difficult situation with someone and you wish to just push them away, you are not allowing the lesson to play out. And so we encourage you to always take time and space for yourself, to get clear on where you are, but then make sure that you are not just blocking or pushing away what someone who in this realm, in the other side, offered to be the darkness for you, to show you where your misbeliefs, where your character's misbeliefs lied. And so their darkness would bring that about. We, on this side, have orchestrated many, many stubborn and willful beings around this one, because part of her journey here is to move from her flexible, very go with the flow nature into one of being driven by her own self-will. And this is where the goddess energy comes in. The goddess energy does not fear her shadow, for she knows that her shadow plays the role on this plane, just as the river or the ocean which causes someone to drown. It is not the ocean or the river that perpetrated that issue. It was an agreement before that being and that body of water came into this separated state, that was an experience that being needed to have. And of course, as you all know, if you've been listening to the channelings through this being, when a being passes into the other realm, when they transition, there is no pain unless that being was asking for that. If that that being's soul was specifically asking for that as a way of learning more about themselves, as a way of understanding pain or releasing pain that they were holding within themselves. For it is when you hold an unconscious or unloving belief, that is when you must experience it. And so you get mad at the people around you who perpetrate the wounds that you do not wish to see. And yet, if they did not push your button, so to speak, you would never have the chance to climb the thought ladder of shifting the perception into knowledge, into healing, into the knowing that you are mind, that you are a thought system that needs to discern what to create from. There are loads and loads, endless thoughts here on planet Earth, endless beliefs, some with which you plan and others with which you pick up along the way. And the goddess energy does not shy from who she is. She is not ashamed of her past actions, for the goddess embodies the light and the darkness. The goddess understands and knows that that is how this realm is played. There is no good or bad. There is no evil or correctness. It is just a game of light and dark. It is just a game of shadows and the light with which the shadow is created by. There cannot be shadow without light. And so we want you to remember that even if a shadow is coming through someone, even if a unloving thought, idea, belief, or action is supposedly being acted upon you, look to see the light, look to see where the shadow has been created, for there is nothing but light. Shadow is merely the illusion that light is not there, and yet it is just blocked. And it is these blockages which we are going after at this time, we spirit, we the collective universe. For this is a time of very hectic and chaotic energies, because there's a lot of unloving beliefs that still lie in these societies. And so we are pushing you to learn more about yourself. We are pushing you to embody more of the forgiveness consciousness. We are pushing you to look above the chaos of this realm and become more aligned with the consciousness of love, to play out your role and not try to be anything or anyone but who you are. For that is what goddess is. No matter how unfortunate your characteristics are, or no matter how quote unquote unbeautiful you think you are a goddess, and you can own your goddess energy. You can own your dance. You can do each movement fully and thoroughly as you move from moment to moment to moment. There are no limitations to what you can do here, no matter how bad you feel, no matter how many mistakes you have made. If you have made a mistake, then you can dance right through that. You can own it with full light, with full color, with full sound, and you can experience it. Because that is the other thing about pushing away darkness. When you push away your darkness and you do not fully experience it, you're not allowing your character to be who they are. And so you will just need to have another situation come that allows you that experience. And that is okay. Whatever choice you all make, whatever characters in the game you want to play out these lessons with, it is up to you. We do recommend finding beings who are of loving nature, who are of a forgiveness practice, because they are going to allow you to transmute those energies much more quickly. They will not linger on your shadow. They will see it as the positive that it is. They will see how the shadow that you quote unquote perpetrated onto them allowed them to become more and better aspects of who they always and truly are. We will give an example here. When this being's father passed away, it was very hard for her to embody a lot of the qualities that he had been covering for her. He had done a lot of the physical labor. He had done a lot of the cooking. He had done so many things. This being's father was an amazing being. He really embodied so many beautiful qualities of humanness and helpfulness. And as his first daughter, this being was the queen and main receiver of that energy. And when that energy was decided by the higher universe, by the spirit forces, it was time for it to be relinquished. It was not because this being was being punished. It was not because this being was not going to be allowed to live out all the fantasy and joys of earth that involve a father-daughter relationship. No, it was because her soul had asked for more. Her soul was ready to be a leader, to be a teacher in the consciousness realm, to channel the messages from spirit and bring them through and be an embodiment of pure unconditional love. And yet when beings are entangled in all of these unloving relationships, unholy relationships, we will say, relationships of duty, relationships of family, relationships of expectation, guilt, shame, and suffering, then you cannot be that. And yet with the release of her father, so many gifts were given to her. She learned how to stand on her own 2 feet, even though she had to crawl for a long time. She learned how to create her own business and make decisions in her business without having her dad weigh in. She learned how to garden. She learned how to do some basic plumbing. She had to learn how to embody all these aspects, which in the moment felt really hard. And she cried and she resisted and she struggled. And yet now she is so much more of a complete earth being. Her character is so much more full because she can do those things. And most importantly, the gift that her father's passing gave her was the ability to rein in her peace and happiness within herself. The physical qualities of being are important. And yet it is when a being truly is at peace, truly is happy with themselves, no matter what the external environment shares, that is the most powerful place you can come from here. That is what God or goddess energy is. The goddess does not seek. The goddess does not beg. The goddess does not run around trying to create a million things. No, the goddess embodies her energy, embodies her inspiration fully, loudly, acceptedly, and moves through each moment and situation being the best version of the light and shadow that she or he can be. And in that way of riding the surfing, riding the waves of light here, riding the opportunities, riding every moment, that is how you have the most fun. That is how you allow your soul to complete the experiences that are meant for this earth plane. And you all had very specific experiences planned for this earth plane. We gently and kindly remind you, because we know it is turbulent times and we do not want to dishonor anyone's pain or suffering, as we know many beings, including this one, has been dealing with a lot of emotions. But we want you to remember, Earth and realms of the third density are the only ones where you can experience separation, heartbreak, guilt, shame, and suffering. And so if you are not easily moving out of your shadow, if the shadow is taking over, we want you to understand that that's okay. Of course, we will always encourage you to move out of it, but there may be a period of time where you planned to be in the shadow. So be in the shadow, be in the energy of it, and be okay with that energy. Know that we here on the spirit side are ready to support you. We are ready to give you the thoughts, the ideas, the beliefs, and the tools that can help you shift out of that. And sometimes the shadow energy will linger for a while, and that is part of the game. The shadow comes and you imbue the light. The shadow comes and you imbue the light. The shadow comes and you imbue the light. And just like nursing someone back to health with a sickness, a little more water here, a little juice there, some medicine here, you slowly put the paint on the wall. You slowly do the second layer. And over time, the shadow becomes infused. It is no longer the dominant energy. It just becomes balanced with the light. You will see it coming and you may act it out, but you will act it out much more briskly. You will act it out much more lovingly. Even a shadow side can be embodied in a loving way. And so we look to each and every one of you to love and accept yourself, to look upon any negative moments in your past, any moments of regret, any times where you felt your behavior may have dictated your current circumstances and you wish you could go back and change them. We encourage you to look upon those moments as important, as part of your plan, knowing that there is nothing to be changed, for what is meant for you will always come. And the God-Goddess energy knows that. They do not seek, they allow. They trust that any actions or behaviors that have come through them are what is meant for them. And that is not an easy practice here on earth, no. Especially in the realm of judgment, in the realm of a culture where there are so many hard stops, there are so many moments, situations, and behaviors that seem to be unforgivable. And yet that is so far from the truth. And as long as you hold against another or yourself an unforgivable moment, you cannot proceed to your next best life. You cannot proceed to the next beautiful present moment. And that is our issue with reflecting too deeply on the past, is that you are not in the present. To be a channel, to be able to bring spirit through, this being must be in the present. And that is a practice that she also gained from her father's passing. She was forced to look upon her pain points. She was forced to be in the shadow, to sleep, to not function, to not be her highest and best self. She went from this bright, fiery, outgoing being to being very much introverted and alone. But it takes times of introversion. It takes times of aloneness to really hone in these pain points, to really understand how they serve you. And this being's father was not just her father. They were quite best friends. They had traveled together. They had done many things together, included going on a healing journey. And there is not much more of a painful separation than that. And yet she is facing separation now in different forms. And she is realizing that one of her lessons from her father's passing that she has not yet learned is that she wants to know that someone will be here for her. She wants to be able to hold on to someone securely so that they will always be around, so that the quote-unquote rug does not get pulled out from underneath of her. And even though that is not what is currently objectively happening in her reality, she is seeing that there are moments caused by other beings that are making her feel insecure, that are making her feel sad, that are making her grab the wheel, white knuckles so tightly in fear that she will be separated again. For the separation from her father was quite a painful one, as you can imagine. And so know that every being around you, their light and shadow, are acting out exactly what you need. And that we, spirit, would never put you in any unnecessary suffering. No, we are always giving you the opportunity to embody your goddess energy, to become more of yourself, to be that willful, self-directed being who faces and confronts each challenge with the knowing that she has every tool she needs, even if she has no idea what she's doing, even if she is trying to paddle out in the surf with no experience. The universe, the ocean energies, all of the beings that play in this realm, they will be there to guide you through these lessons. You do not need to worry. You do not need to anticipate pain or sorrow or suffering or look upon the shadow with fear. Fear is the only thing to fear, because when you are in fear, you block the light. When you are in fear, you create the shadow. And there's no need to create any more shadow that is already there. We promise each and every one of you have plenty of shadow to work with. So there is no more that you need to integrate. We are spirit. We love you so much. We remind you that while the earth is beautiful, it also brings the rain, the thunder, and the lightning. It also has its explosions. It also has its energy of fierceness and forcefulness and raptureness. But in the end, all shadow ultimately is there to bring light. All shadow is subconsciously and unconsciously there to clear the stagnant energy, to spiral you up to the next level and the next level until your consciousness is one with God, until you are Goddess embodied. And so we wish you well on your journey. We are here for you to answer your questions, to continue to help you to embody your goddess or God energy. We say to you, allow and trust and know that everything that's meant for you will come when you stand aligned with an open heart, with a embodied will, with a creatively open center and rooted into the ground, connected to us. This is why we encourage you to balance your chakras, because that is what you are doing. You are embodying the goddess energy. For when the energy flow is serene, when it is balanced, and when it is moving equally and objectively through each chakra, they feed each other and they allow that energy, they allow for the universe to bring all that is meant for you to you. And then it allows you to act upon those energies as inspired. And that is the most beautiful way to interact with these energies, with these momentums. You wait for your wave and then you catch it. You be discerning about the one you want to ride. You can sit out the back and wait for the big set wave and have a beautiful big ride, or you can take a bunch of small waves and enjoy those as well. There is no right way to live out your time here. The only quote unquote right thing to do is to know that you are love. Know that you are unconditional love, and that anytime you judge or you choose not to forgive, you are blocking yourself from the beauty, from the present moment that is around you. I am spirit. I am the magic that infuses your fingertips and toes, that dances along with you as you go through your rows of life. And I will speak to you again at another time. Okay, everyone, that was the goddess energy. I pulled this card today. Just gonna do some coverage because she's a little bit naked. The Great Goddess. That was our card for today. And one thing I'll just point out, because I read the card before, is you can see there's all these crystals that lead to her heart. And I'm just going to read you the page in this book because I really found it very inspiring. What it said really hit home. Notice the floating crystal path leading you to her soul. It is beautiful but deadly, slippery, transparent, and movable. Observe the skeletons of those who fell, deemed unworthy, incapable of understanding the truth she offers. The price you pay is letting go of what you are comfortable knowing. Releasing the illusions that once brought you ignorant bliss. Only the soul who accepts her as she is can make it to ascension. The one who can accept both her beauty and ugliness within her. Only then will they have total transcendence of the soul, a higher awakening and activation of their power. There is potential for growth and prosperity if they can make it past their own limitations and worldly illusions. A peaceful valley is just beyond the barren desert. The Universal Mother, Queen of the Cosmos, she who is and she who gives eternal life, but can also take it away. She who at will could create or demolish earth if provoked, destroying without hesitation all she has created, a supreme being of the most powerful feminine essence. So that is a message for today. I love you guys so much. Thanks for your patience with me. I know it's been like 2 months since I posted a video. I haven't forgotten about the Lofoten Island series. I'll be working on that soon. Been doing a lot of surf lessons and healing touch sessions. I have a really beautiful space this summer. So if you're interested in an energy session here on Long Beach Island, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I wish you all a blessed day, and I'll speak to you again soon at another time.